Hello there. What you're about to hear is some feedback from 18 students currently on the Business Architecture Transformation program being held in Sydney at the moment. Now these students are from our partners, the top 8 in Australia and New Zealand, that speak for about 80–90% of sales. They're being trained on business architecture and transformation, which you know is one of the top 5 priorities within Cisco right now. Now this cohort of students are one of about 20 that are being trained around the world on business architecture and transformation. A program that was jointly developed between Cisco and Global Knowledge. I'm sure you'll find some of the feedback and some of the comments very interesting. Thanks for listening.
Just for such a large organisation, so it's baby steps at a time, but certainly the clarity, the tool sets, and the enablement that some of the thought processes that business architect training has given me has been very helpful in terms of customer engagement, customer proposals, and not talking about product feature functionality, which is what as product sales force or product engineering force we get into a habit of doing, but talking about the business and their drivers, and then marrying the solution to that. So it's been very impressive. So
you seem to have enjoyed the role plays quite a lot.
Yes, it doesn't take long to get into character.
So I'm a solution specialist with Alpha West, part of a national team that addresses contact centre at the moment. So a lot of the abstraction into business process is something I have to say I'm dealing with. But as the course unfolds, I'm finding a lot of the formalisation of the material very useful. To have seasoned professionals like Carl really appreciate the depth and the experience that several phases of the course have really dropped in on us. It's been very welcome. The course is still unfolding. We've still got another element to go, I guess, but I'm talking about it more as a coordinating element within Alpha West to get the branches in line with the types of approaches. Kevin's already offered to come and have a chat, and I'm looking forward to taking it further, and certainly it's got the attention of the senior leadership team at Alpha West. So, yeah, very good.
I've been to many technical training. I've been also to many sales training, and this is the only unique training that combines the two well together. So I think this is a very good opportunity for me to learn and combine all the aspects of what the sales world want with what the solution architecture want, and marry them together and meet in the middle. Internally, IBM is a big company, so I think I need a lot more driving force and kind of a mass commitment before I can actually get business architecture as a norm rather than as an exception in my company.
So my name's Ian Sewell. I'm an enterprise solutions specialist from Genai. Primarily work with some large accounts. So in terms of the context of the training, what I found valuable was to use some of the modules in some of the sales opportunities. So things like benefit and risk analysis, and using those templates to position a technology with a client, which is great. It's probably the best training courses I've been on. Top 2 certainly. And I think when I talk to customers, so Bank of New Zealand or Ministry of Social Development, when they hear about the training, they're really aligned with it and they see the value of it, which is good, because that's important for us to work with customers' IT departments and get alongside IT, customers' IT areas, and then go and work with the business. So if we're going to make this succeed, we need to get to that layer.
Carl Melrose, Efficient Data Communications. I'm a business solution architect. I've really enjoyed the course so far. It's presented some really useful tools. One of the I don't know if you'd call it a problem, but one of definitely the things to get the heads around, or the account management and business development team of my company, is it's not business as usual. This does represent a bit of a shift in the way you engage. But to say we do have some other skill sets and start shifting that perception, I think that's going to be really important. That's definitely going to be my agenda sort of post this section of the course. But so far it's been absolutely fantastic.
My name's Stephen Bird. I'm a business architect with Data3 in Brisbane. I say I only started calling myself a business architect after I started this course. I was a senior business analyst before then and realised that what I'd been doing was business architecture. So it timed itself well. Data3 is in the process of setting up a strategic consulting practice, which is something it hasn't had in the past. Recognise the customers need business architecture. That's where I step in, but we haven't been actively going out selling that approach. So hopefully the new financial year will, as the unit really gets set up, we'll see that happening as well. So, but in terms of the context of the courses, the tools we've been learning have been great, and they've really put a lot of what I've been doing anyway into a firmer context. And I guess building the notion of business architecture within the industry, within lots of industries, is going to help a lot for us, so that when sales particularly have the conversation, that CIOs and CXOs understand what they're talking about as to why do I need a business architect and where am I going to get benefit from the investment. So I guess that's an important step that needs to happen.
I'll answer this in two parts, one at a personal level and one at a corporate level. Personal level, being a CCIE, there's always this itch to do what next. Do I keep with the technologies as it grows in Cisco, go virtualization, start certifying in that length, and that was not satisfying. So I think Danny, who was my director, realized that and put me on this course. And personally, it gave me a direction where I would like to go next from CCIE, being a subject matter expert, looking after AMP account for 3.5 years. But personally, I think I've got now a clear view of where I would like to be. But being a CCIE for 10 years and trying to be just keeping up with technology was not motivating enough in this point. Now I know where I want to be. That's where it is.
I'm honored to be a part of this and to be working with Cisco. And one of the real joys is seeing people that are so keen on grasping and moving and transforming the way they do business. And wherever I am, I started out the end of April in Mexico, and then of course in Germany, followed by Prague, Toronto, Chicago, Australia, and I'm off to Stockholm after this. And seeing it's been an honor for me, and working with Cisco and in a true partnership to try and be part of this transformation has been great for me.
At the moment, I don't even know they understand what business architecture is. I got to explain it several times to my manager before I get the approval. But once they actually understand and can see the value, then it will be a lot easier for us to actually.
There will be a value in having the Cisco brand and the Cisco direction towards the general market on this. I think that this is a key play from Cisco to try and come into, to differentiate itself from the particular part of the marketplace it was in, to make it a much more wide player, much more trusted player across the entire organisation. The smaller customers in the mid-market probably don't have the bandwidth all the time to process this. So if there's something which is easily digestible by them, so they can understand what the requirements are, that will help them to take this as an option that they may end up learning their first time about enterprise architecture or business architecture from Cisco. So that might actually give some stickiness to it as well.
Some very significant clients I know, they talk to clients who probably can't even articulate properly what their problem is. And there will be opportunities to open up and go, we think you need a business architect to come in and help you, and these are our partner organisations that can provide that service. But again, I agree, it's got to happen when we're ready as well. So.
I assume there's got to be some accounts that are joint engagement. Alpha West might have some accounts, and Telstra might have some accounts that you can sort of agree on to say, well, let's do a joint engagement in this sort of context.
It's always that balancing act between what are the short-term goals of an organisation to what is the long-term strategy.
Yeah.
If you embark on, working jointly together at business architecture, sometimes it could be, the immediate need, or, the salesperson hat on to say, there's $30 million worth of, switching and routing here today. Nobody's asking the question of what could be a $100 million deal.
Exactly.
And it's about just being in that mindset to say, look, if we go on this journey with a customer, it might take us 8 weeks longer in the sales cycle, but we've uncovered a bigger piece of the pie.
Just to put some numbers around it, one of the customers that we've done business with, I won't name who it is, it doesn't matter. At the peak, we sold them $48 million worth of equipment out of a total spend of $1.6 billion. That, if you do the numbers, is 2.8% of market. If we double that, which is going from 2.8 to say 6%, that's already $96 million, just in products, not talking about services. And the only way you're going to do that is through relevance, aligning to the business and working downwards. The other key part, and this is where I think the global knowledge component comes in, is that, you know, you guys are in a separate organization to Cisco. And yes, we can have conversations and telephone calls and so on. But what architecture does is bring a formal framework of alignment and engagement of how we're going to solve the customer's problem.
Sales is a well-refined algorithm, you know. At some level, most sales managers will say that, you know, you make 100 calls, you'll get 10 leads, you'll close 2 deals of X. You know, they sort of, they can run sales by the numbers,
Yeah.
whereas business architecture is not, it's not part of the algorithm. It really needs to be driven down into the sales teams as well. There needs to be a proactive focus on that, because most of us are not account managers, and having been an account manager in the past, you know, having somebody who wants to come in and own that relationship. I mean, I haven't been an account manager for nearly 9 months now, and I still have an account manager. I still have people I used to deal with in companies that call me instead of their account manager for things. So being an account manager and having somebody come in who is going to have that depth of engagement is quite scary, I think, because you lose control. So unless they're seeing the dollars as a result of that, and unless that's really substantiated to them, I think you're going to find a lot of account managers are really reluctant to, you know, allow this in. So it is going to have to be driven down.
So a couple of points you're making. One is part of the sales process, or the algorithm, I think you said. We need to build it into the algorithm,
Yeah.
correct? The other point I'd raise, though, is if you look at the consulting firms like Accenture, KPMG, etc., they do have it. That is their algorithm. And would you not agree that we jointly need to build it into our... So that there are precedents that have been set by others to take all of this business architecture process into an algorithm so that they can scale it and replicate it. Do all the good things that architecture does, right? That's what we need to build into our...
There are 3 functions for account managers. You know, one of them is financial, the other one is as a relationship manager, and the other one was logistics or
orchestration.
Orchestration
Yeah.
of resources. I think there's a separate place for business architects, but I just don't know whether account managers really feel
Well,
comfortable.
account managers compensated differently, which is a short-term compensation plan. What we're trying to do is evolve ours to a longer term so that they appreciate business architecture may take longer, but they'll get more out of it, but they're rewarded appropriately. And a lot of that is a change management function around how the business looks at, you know, the short-term gain versus the longer-term gain, and how that gets balanced.
When you're selling a product, it's very well defined. We document the speeds, the feeds, the features, the silicon, the software, etc. With business architecture, it's intangible. What's the vision for the business, for the bank or the mining company or whatever? There's a lot of intangibles in there, and it's our job to turn that intangible into a tangible, which is the architecture framework, the methodology, etc. So you're absolutely right. This is hard, but that's why people like Accenture and others have done so well.
There's great margin.
Exactly. What do they say? Where there's mystery, there's margin.
Yeah.
If you can sell technical architecture, you can sell business architecture, because business architecture has at least as much value. So this is a good opportunity for them to expand the stickiness of the existing accounts, build into, like, go up the stack, get more of the applications.
We have this issue too. It's about expectation. So if Boston Consulting Group goes into your company, or McKinsey, do you think you're going to get it for free? No. And not only is it going to be not for free, it's going to be very, very expensive, right? We all know that. Expectations being set. So the job for all of us, for you guys in particular, is go back in your companies and start building out a process in terms of your offer that sets expectation.
Going through this course showed me what is the procedure to get there if it's something new. Mine was based on credibility, being on the account, living firefighting, and then establish that at a senior level. But this showed a structure in how you get